Are fish and animals really dying? Are people being poisoned? Are people going to die? Is the water supply going to get contaminated from what's going on in Ohio? We need to take a look at this. People ask me all the time, hey Brian, do you really use that keto elevate stuff, and does it really work? The answer is yes and yes. Never in my entire life have I lost body fat so quickly. Not even in my prime at 25, which is over 25 years ago. I'm approaching 54 this year. If you want to support the channel and do your health a favor, grab some with my link in the description. No Greta Thunberg on the scene, no environmental climate activist condemning the railways or the Biden administration or the people who really messed up over here in East Palestine. I'm going to play this right here. This is the initial explosion. Everything that I'm going to give you comes from fake stream, top shelf authoritative sources. Look at this. I'm going to tell you who, according to fake stream media, detonated this and sent about 1 million pounds of vinyl chloride into the atmosphere. And once it hits water, as some reports have indicated, it turns into hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen chloride plus water is hydrochloric acid, and that could form and does form. At least it has in the past. Maybe it won't now. Maybe it's going to be a kinder, gentler hydrogen chloride in water. But usually it causes acid rain. Check out this explosion right here. People were saying the flames are over 100 to 150 feet high. Prior to this big plume of black smoke, here's what you had right here. Because apparently the boiling point of vinyl chloride is 8 degrees Fahrenheit. But it looks like the situation was exacerbated, and this is what you had before the explosion. This is, I don't know if what we're seeing, because I'm not a chemist, I'm not a biologist. I don't have a lot of information on this. Just some of the cursory reading I've been doing yesterday and today. But apparently the boiling point of vinyl chloride is 8 degrees Fahrenheit. But they decided to extract the runoff from the 5 derailed trains. There are only 5 of them, into these troughs, and then detonate it. This is detonation 1, and right here is detonation 2. Prior to that, it looked like it was somewhat manageable. Here's another angle on that explosion. Now let me read to you what CBS says, and then we'll look at an AP article. Again, these are top shelf authoritative sources there, YouTube. Crews released toxic chemicals into the air from 5 derailed tankers that were in danger of exploding on Monday after officials warned residents near the Ohio-Pennsylvania state line to leave immediately or face the possibility of death. Remember what they said initially? There's no problem. We're not going to have a problem with the air. We're not going to have a problem with the ground or the groundwater or the water supply in the streams. And now we have reports of animals dying. We have reports of fish and frogs dying. We have reports of humans becoming sick. Flames and black smoke billowed high into the sky from the train derailment late in the afternoon. About an hour after authorities said the controlled release would begin, the Ohio Emergency Management Agency confirmed the release was underway. Vinyl chloride was slowly released from 5 rail cars into a trough that was then ignited. They ignited it, creating a large plume above the village, which we just saw, of East Palestine. But authorities said they were closely monitoring the air quality. And get this, the emergency management agency of nearby Mahoning County, Ohio, tweeted earlier on Tuesday, and this is last week, guys. Environmental protection agencies, quote, completed air sampling throughout Mahoning County and did not read any reportable levels of contaminants in the air. Look, watch this. Just watch it again. No reportable levels of contaminants in the air. Does this picture right here indicate to you no reportable levels of contaminants in the air? Are they lying to us? Golly, I wonder. Let's see what the AP says about this. Crews released toxic chemicals into the air from 5 derailed tanker cars that were in danger of
just take our word for it. They were in danger of exploding. So we went ahead and put them into the vinyl chloride into these troughs, and we went ahead and ignited it. Nobody's sitting there going, okay, now what would happen? Let's just think this through, guys, because so far we have this localized. It's somewhat contained locally. The last thing we want to do is spread this thing miles away. So let's just think about this for a second. If we put this into the troughs and we ignite this thing and it goes up like crazy, what could be the far-reaching geographical climate ramifications of our activities? What could possibly happen? Says flames and black smoke billowed high into the sky from the derailment late Sunday afternoon. The slow release of vinyl chloride from the 5 rail cars into a trough that was then ignited created a large plume above the village of East Palestine, but authorities said they were closely monitoring it. Thus far, no concerning readings have been detected, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro said at a brief evening news conference about 3 hours after the venting and burning procedure began. Guys, 3 hours after this right here. 3 hours after this plume of smoke right here. Let's just take a look at some pictures and see if they correspond with what they're reporting. Look at this. No contaminant levels detected. Just think about every time you see a picture like this. No contaminant levels detected. Really? None. No contaminant levels detected after this right here. People are, you know what was trending high on Twitter today? Ohio Chernobyl. Chernobyl event in Ohio, but no detected contaminant levels in the air, none in the water, none on the land. Look at this right here. It's starting to change weather patterns in that area. There's another one for you. And what did the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, say today about the Ohio problem?
To work with your contractors, to work with your community colleges on building a workforce that reflects the community. We have heard way too many stories from generations past of infrastructure where you got a neighborhood, often a neighborhood of color, that finally sees the project come to them, but everyone in the hard hats on that project looking like, doing the good paying jobs, don't look like they came from anywhere near the neighborhood.
Right.
You can build community wealth that will help close wealth gaps in this country if we can tear down those barriers.
So he's talking about the race of construction workers, but there's no mention of the Ohio train derailment and the contamination, no mention of dead fish, no mention of dead animals, no mention of human lives in jeopardy. Nothing like that. Just so you know, the Ohio River starts in Pittsburgh. It's about 981 miles long, and it flows from Pittsburgh northwest. Here's the Ohio River right here. And then it starts flowing south. But look where East Palestine is. Here's East Palestine right here. And this smoke is blowing in this area right here. I'll show you the radius in a second. But from the Pennsylvania-Ohio line, the Ohio River goes west and then south and then dumps into the Mississippi River somewhere in southern Illinois. And from what I understand, over 5 million people get their drinking water from water treatment plants extracted from the Ohio River. And here's the cloud radius right here at the chemical burn. Look at this right here. We're talking about it's affecting places in New York, Kentucky, Maryland, West Virginia. Here's what some people are saying.
So with all this stuff going on in East Palestine, Ohio, with the Norfolk Southern train derailment, I grew up about 20 minutes from there in a small town called Litecoin, and my parents still live up there. And I just talked to my mom, and she said that the river's contaminated up there. Livestock have been dying. They are evacuating some cows and other livestock to different areas of Ohio. That they were at Walmart a couple days ago, and they came outside, and their cars were covered in almost like this tarry sawdust kind of thing. And she went for a walk recently outside, and her friend both felt really sick and short of breath. And basically the EPA and everybody went in, and the railroad told them to get out. So there seems like there's a cover up there. They're telling everybody on the local news that it's okay, but it's not okay. People are getting sick, animals are dying, things are tainted, and there's a cover up going on. So with all this stuff going on in East Palestine.
So it's not even bad enough that there was one chemical released into the air, vinyl chloride, which is a known carcinogen. The Hill reports that there are 3 more chemicals discovered in the Ohio train derailment. They say 3 more chemicals that we know of have been found on the Norfolk Southern train that derailed in Ohio just over a week ago, and they are being described as dangerous. Of course they are. We basically nuked a town, says this hazardous material specialist, with chemicals so we could get a railroad open. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency sent a letter to Norfolk Southern stating that ethylene glycol monobutyl ether, ethylene hexyl acrylate, and isobutylene were also in the railroad cars that were derailed, breached, and or on fire. The freight train derailment on February 3rd in East Palestine, Ohio, near the Pennsylvania state line, left a mangled and charred mess of boxcars and flames as authorities launched a federal investigation. We're going to investigate ourselves and we'll get back to you and let you know what we discovered. And monitored air quality from the various hazardous chemicals in the train. Here's another look at the Ohio River map. 10% of the U.S. population, over 30 million people, live in the Ohio River basin. The Ohio River itself provides drinking water to over 5 million people. What are the long-term, far-reaching side effects? How many people will be damaged? How many animals will die? How many people will die? How much of the food supply will be contaminated? How about the water supply? If this happened in Washington's District of Criminals, I guarantee you the politicians would do something about it. Why aren't they doing anything about it right now? Because it's not directly affecting and impacting them. If you guys live in this area, I want to know. Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell notification icon. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel, the links are in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video.